Thank you for listening to the BJJ Brick Podcast. We'll be bringing you Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and good times. We hope to flatten your Jiu-Jitsu learning curve, help you get the most out of your grappling ability, and meet your goals both on and off the mat.
Welcome back, my friends, to the BJJ Brick Podcast. This is Byron, and I'm here with Gary. This is episode 92 of the BJJ Brick Podcast. We have part 2 of our interview with Danny Alvarez. Gary.
Yes.
We're both very excited about part 2 of this interview. How's it going, man?
It's going good, and I didn't know if you guys heard, but Byron was getting ready to say the episode number, and he paused for a second before 92, and I know exactly what it is. Today's July 18th. It's Byron's birthday. He's now a little bit older, and that Alzheimer's setting in, so he's starting to forget some stuff. So if you notice, like Byron just starts talking here in the podcast, and just rambles on to another episode or wanders aimlessly, you'll know why. So but first of all, I want to wish happy birthday, and if anybody knows any way to offset the beginning of Alzheimer's, let us know so we can use that with Byron.
Thank you, Gary.
Happy birthday, Byron.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I appreciate that, and he definitely getting closer to that time in my life when things will be slipping faster and faster, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I noticed when I roll with Byron, I slip in and out of consciousness faster and faster. He's getting so much better. Just beating the crap out of me.
Well, whatever, man. Obviously, this is a part 2 episode here. This is Danny Alvarez. If you haven't heard part 1, it would probably make more sense if you went back and heard it. But you could listen to this one first and go back and hit up part 1. It won't hurt you any. It would all make sense, as we go through. We'll just catch the conversation midway through is basically how that would work if you did not check out part 1.
Yeah, and think about how many times you go hang out with your buddies, and your buddies have already been hanging out for an hour, and you join in an hour late. You just keep going. So if you miss part 1, start with part 2, and then go back and catch up part 1 later. Great information.
Great information. Hey, that's a good way to do that, Gary. But before we get started too deep, if you want to contact us, we have an email address. It's bjjbrick@gmail.com, or you could send us a message on our Facebook fan page, Facebook/BJJBrick. I think it's a lot of people will post on our wall, and I don't really know where that goes. But if you send us a message through that, we get it every time. But have you got that, Gary? Have you kind of figured that out?
Yeah, I'm not very technological, so I figured you knew where it went, because I definitely didn't.
But either way, it's fine. I think we see all those too, but it's all good. We also have a Twitter and other things as well.
Yeah, so definitely just send us a message or hit us an email at bjjbrick@gmail.com. Easiest ways.
Those are everybody should have an email address by now.
Yep, and if you want to support the show, definitely the show's not free. Check out Byron's audiobook. We'll have a link to it. It's only $11.99. Getting great reviews. Basically 2 hours. Is that right, Byron? 2 hours?
I think it's 2.5.
2.5, so you get an extra half hour free. So 2.5 hours of basically it's kind of just like our podcast. A lot of great information, helping you out with your first year of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, Gary, you said the show's not free. The show is free for the listeners, but it does have a few costs associated with it that we like to try to manage with the audiobook there. Your first year in BJJ, Chapter 3 is the benefits of BJJ. So
there's a lot of benefits.
Right, so that might, especially if you're new, you might need a little kick in the behind to really get out there and understand there's more happening on the mat than just going and learning jiu-jitsu. So there's a lot of benefits that you could pick up, and I think that chapter is a good motivating one that will help people get through that first year successfully.
Well, the crazy thing is, you said this podcast is free. You've been charging me now for 92 episodes.
Yes,
I thought I got a discount because I was a co-host, but you're charging me $5 each week just to listen to it. So what's the deal with that, Byron?
It's $5 a minute, Gary. For you, my friend.
Oh, man, I hope this is a short episode.
The knowledge that is sent through your headphones there, Gary, is priceless. Well,
that's what I like to hear.
It doesn't have a price attached to it, I guess, so lacking a price. Yep. But if you want to support us, we definitely appreciate it. It always gives me a little smile when I get that email. Hey, somebody bought an audiobook. it's always encouraging to see that, and we also appreciate the emails that tell us we're doing a good job and that sort of thing. So any kind of support, whether it be $12 or just like a little emotional shot in the arm. Hey, good job, guys! I really like that episode. It really helps us out, and it keeps us motivated.
It keeps us motivated. It is really nice to hear stuff, and even if it's not the best thing to hear, we want to get better. We look at the podcast just like we look at our jiu-jitsu game. We're always looking to get better. We constructive criticism, if it's not the greatest criticism, we take that to heart. We want to get better on the mat and on the mat and on the cast.
That's the mat and cast, huh?
Yep.
But don't get on the mat if you have a cast. And
Actually, I feel like
terrible.
I could use a cast right now, the way I'm feeling.
That joke I made was terrible, Gary. So let's move on. Let's do our quote of the week. What do you think,
Quote of
Gary?
the week. What do we got today, Byron?
We got a presidential quote.
Oh, one from George Bush?
Not quite. We've got a Theodore Roosevelt. Have you heard of that guy?
Oh, I've heard of that guy. I think he went by Teddy.
Teddy, a lot of times, yes.
Yeah.
Here we go. Theodore Roosevelt. If you could kick the person in the pants responsible for most of your trouble, you wouldn't sit for a month.
You know, that's so true. Your butt would be sore from kicking yourself in the butt so many times. So we are the cause of a lot of our own problems.
Yeah. It's, I think, obviously some people have bad things happen to them that are like extraordinary, but the average person has like the average amount of things happen to them. I mean, by definition. And it's how you react to those things and how you deal with your problems, whether they go away or they get worse. And if you're one of the people that just seems to be having bad luck all the time, try to just frame it in a different way. Try to learn an opportunity and try not to cause problems. If you know that you're going to go out Friday night and it's going to cause troubles or whatever by the next week, maybe Friday night's a bad choice. Maybe you should stay in or go roll.
Yeah. I was just thinking about just here last week after work, I got an email from a client that there was a problem at hand, and it was something I couldn't really fix to the next morning. And, in my mind, I thought, because you're not talking to the person, you see an email, it sounds like it's a big problem. I spent that whole night worrying about it. And, I was like, oh, man, I'm going to get into work tomorrow and I'm going to have a terrible day. I get into work. Within like 5 minutes, I found out what happened. Called the client, and the client was never really even mad. It just seemed like the voicemail or the email made it seem a little worse. And within 5 minutes, that thing was taken care of and no issues whatsoever. But I spent like a night worrying about that. And I just like, why worry about it? I couldn't do anything from home. Where I was at, just enjoy myself, enjoy the 16 hours I'm not back at work. And then once I get to work, tighten my belt and get to work. And I was so mad at myself that I let something bother me that I didn't have any control over for a certain amount of time. And that's kind of what that reminded me of, that right there. I was my own worst enemy right there.
Yeah, you owe yourself one, according to Theodore Roosevelt, that you owe yourself one kick in the pants.
If I try that, I'll probably tear my ACL because I don't know how I'm going to kick myself.
Okay, I'll get you later, man. I'm here for you, buddy.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Well, with that quote, I'll read it one more time. If you could kick the person in the pants responsible for most of your trouble, you wouldn't sit for a month. So quit giving yourself all the trouble. Your life is headed in the direction that you're leading it. The things you dwell on, are they really worth it? And that sort of thing. You know what I mean, Gary?
Yep, not worth it. Whenever you have some stress, go train. You'll forget about everything, and you'll just have fun.
There you go. At least get sweaty if training's not available at the time.
Yep. And don't forget to take a shower.
That's a key part of it.
Yes.
Otherwise, nobody will want to talk to you or hang out near you.
Or roll with you. So you're in trouble then.
Absolutely.
Yep. Byron, what does that music mean?
Oh, man, that music is telling me that it is time for our article of the week.
Article of the week. This week we got a great one. It's on Evolve Daily. It's 5 tips to take your BJJ sparring to the next level. We'll put a link to it on our page there so you can check it out. And I'm trying to see who wrote this. I can't really tell. Have you seen that, Byron? Or am I just missing it?
I'm scrolling all the way to the bottom here.
Okay.
I don't see it on there either, buddy.
Yeah. Yep. Well, whoever wrote this did a darn good job. Let's take our sparring to the next level. Everybody wants to get better. Sparring, you can just go through the motions, or you can, make it technical. You can try to make it better, basically. And, the first step we've got here is don't choose the same partners. I guess it's different if you're only in a school that has 2 people, but that's very, very rare, unless you live on Easter Island. But definitely go with a lot of people. Go with the big, strong wrestlers. Go with the lanky guys with a great guard. Go with the black belt who just smashes you. Go with all sorts of different people. Go with a new guy. And by changing your sparring partners, it's just going to make you that much better. You're going to see different stuff. And actually, it's kind of crazy because Byron and I were training this morning, and that was one thing you were talking about. Byron was working on leg drags, and with the normal guys he trains with, he gets one reaction. And he said today when he's training leg drags with myself and another guy, he saw a different reaction. So that just makes his game better. He's new stuff to work on. Yeah,
I need to see the half dozen or dozen things that the people have the options to do from there. The sooner the better, So Gary showed me something that could happen from that leg drag position. He went to right away, and that was good for me. I could have kept drilling with the same guy I've been working with it with, but Gary showed me a new thing. The next tip on the list, number 2, don't be afraid to lose. And it's, we're just sparring. There's really, but basically, don't be afraid to tap. Don't be afraid to roll with people that can tap you. I mean, these are the ways to get better. So if you grab somebody who's a little higher level than you and they tap you a couple times, they give you a hard roll. That's a learning experience. And those people, a lot of times, could fix little tiny, fine-tune little things in your game and really make a difference, right there on the spot.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Just those little things that person can help you with and make you better. Number 3 here, don't lose focus on your mission. And basically it says the best BJJ practitioners have a mission. There's so many techniques out there. You're not going to become a master at them all overnight. So, focus on just one technique at a time. And like I would say, whether it's learning how to leg drag. And the crazy thing is, that's what Byron is working on today. He was just working on leg drag. So it's kind of going into what we were talking about. Keep working on that technique till you get it right. And the tip is give yourself weekly missions and stick to it. Try it during your sparring sessions, and if you're having issues with it, consult your instructor or one of the higher level people there. But just a little tip or a little thing here is, when I first started, me and Byron kind of started at the same time, but he got better faster than I. His learning curve, was straight up in the air when we first started. Mine was slower, and you were the one who always told me that, Byron. I was that guy. I tried to learn too many things, and I remember you used to tell me is. You didn't say weekly, but you used to tell me, take a technique and just work it for a month straight. And that's when my game started getting much better. So you gave me some great advice. I kept both my ears open, listened to you, and it definitely helped. So thank you.
Yeah, whether it's weekly or this night I'm going to work on this submission, or monthly, or I'm planning on working on leg drags for at least 4 months.
Yeah. Yep.
But if you're a little newer, there's no point in dedicating 4 months to your leg drag or your guillotine or a triangle. You need to get out there and get a little base of a game going. But after you've developed a game, find something and fine tune it and make it a little better. Spend a week on something. That's a great idea.
Yep, great idea.
Number 4, don't forget to link your techniques. So let's say you're working on your guillotine this week, month, whatever, and you need to be anticipating what's going to happen next. If your opponent actually gets out of it, how is that likely to happen? If they stop you from finishing it, how is that likely to happen? And how do you interact with this? Don't just throw your guillotine on and close your guard or whatever and just hold and let them break through it. Anticipate that and have an answer for it. It may not always work, but at least you're linking techniques and transitions together.
Yeah, and that's how you know you're getting better, when you do start linking techniques. That's always a neat thing to see. Number 5, don't lose track of points. And I think this is one that I'll tell you, I do not do enough. And you know, there's points in competitions. You need to know the points. I get in the habit sometimes I just let somebody pass. And, you know, I just let somebody get some points. I mean, why should I let people do that? Especially if you got competitions coming up or if you're really competition-oriented. You need to know the point system. You need to keep track of them. You need to get that second hook in there. You know, a lot of times I'll take back mount and I'll just put one hook in and start working from there. No, I need to make sure I get that second hook in. I need the points. So do not neglect that in your game. It's very important.
Well, I would say you specifically, Gary, you play like, and that's fine. I mean, obviously you're just sometimes you just give up side control, and that's not a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm working different things, but I still have to be aware of that. And sometimes I'm not aware of that, even when we're rolling a little bit harder. When I'm not playing, I don't worry about sometimes getting that second hook in and stuff like that. I just have to be a little. You know, be a little more alert of that stuff. Yeah,
I think that this is best seen, this points thing, because I think this will have a little bit of people may not like this tip. Don't lose track of points, but it does help. It could be like when I keep score in my head, I guarantee you I'm harder to sweep. I guarantee you that I will fight and hold you down a little bit better once I pass your guard. That I'm going to solidify and get my points. Like there's a difference, and you're a little bit more attuned to what's going on. And I think the easiest one, especially for people a little newer, would be if you're in top and the other guys, your training partner's on the bottom, and they just kind of knock you over and they get up. That's a sweep. Now it may not have been really technical, and maybe. Really nothing happened, but they just traded you guard for guard. That's a sweep. And so you need to, anytime you get knocked over, you got to pop back up and get a good stance or get a good base again. And that really helps. I've seen a lot of students benefit from like, oh, that counted? I changed, like, you know, that's a big deal if you're going to compete. And it also helps you, it's going to help you with your passing and you shouldn't just, you know, give up the top position if you don't have to.
Yeah, and I know Byron used to do this back in the day. Like I used to see him all the time. You know, if he was really concerned about points, he would bring his little brother with him, and his little brother would have a horn, and he would have a digital scoreboard with him, and he would carry it with him. He would just walk into the gym with Byron, and he would plug it in. And when Byron was rolling, you know, right when it started, he'd hit the horn, and he would keep points while it was going. And then when it was over, you know, he would take a picture of the scoreboard. And if Byron was winning, he'd raise Byron's hand and take a picture. So that was always a good idea.
Oh, that's hilarious. This is the episode I found out if my brother's still listening to the podcast. Because he will call me on that one. Could you imagine him with a whistle?
Let's see if he's...
And me arguing with him about not getting points. That'd be hilarious. I was training at Fox Fitness the other day with the competition class, and we did like a little mock tournament where we had somebody keeping score, and we had a referee, and you know, two competitors going at it, and somebody coaching, you know, like everything that we could kind of bring in and make it a little more of a learning experience. And people were picking up on things, you know. You can learn how to coach better. You learn, okay, that was 2 points for that. The refs screw up. Well, sometimes the refs does screw up, you know. And as a ref, you're learning more about the points game when something should or should not have counted. So that was a fun little exercise that we did, and we'll probably be doing that again sometime. Yeah,
that's a great idea. And if you notice too that when you start coaching or teaching a little bit, you get better. So even the new guy who is now sitting on the sidelines in that scenario there, having to coach, he's going to learn something. So it's great. It's just taking you out of the normal repetitions that you do and putting you in a little different atmosphere. Great idea.
Yep, that's just something that's going on here. That article, the 5 tips to take your BJJ sparring to the next level, is Evolve Daily. It's actually evolve.mma.com. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. It should be easy to find. All right, well, that wraps up that article.
I think it's time to get on with part 2 of Danny Alvarez.
All right, here we go. He is the most interesting grappler in the world.
He has had a short career as a pharmacist. He got fired because he was recommending jiu-jitsu for 95% of his patients. His idea of a performance-enhancing drug is better technique. He has been tested for this, and the results were positive. Chuck Norris's wife has a tattoo of his face.
I don't always listen to podcasts, but when I do, I prefer the BJJ Brick podcast. Stay sweaty, my friends.
You need to do the extra work. You need to put in extra time in all areas. And probably the biggest and most important is the mental preparation. You can train every day, twice a day, be a super talented guy or girl, be a beast on the mat. But then if you don't work on your mental game, you're going to go out there and freeze up and choke and lose it. It's really all about that. Like once you realize, like, I can do this, and I'm going to go out there and win, and I'm going to just give it to whoever they put in front of me. And, you know, like the attitude should be like, if I do come up short, you know, and if I do lose, that person I fought will never forget me. They'll never forget me, you know. Yep. They'll never forget me. They'll be like, man, I don't want to see that run into that guy again or girl again because, you know, they gave me the business and I squeaked away with a win there, you know what I mean? But if your mental game isn't right, then you're going to go out there unsure, very doubtful of yourself. Did you do this? Did you do that? You're going to be worried about people that came to see you or who's watching. Your focus is on all the wrong things, and you're going to go out there and just get wrapped up right away, and that's just not the way you want to go out, you know. And a lot of times, from what I've experienced as a coach, you know, I said I've had my business since it's 08. Yeah, I got back when I started business 08, but they'll get so. The word, I don't know. They won't come back from that loss. I've had so many students compete once and never compete again. And I'm like, man, that says a lot about you. Like, what kind of person are you to just try something once and quit? Like, what kind of, like, that shows me a lot about your character. Either you're spoiled and you're used to things going your way, and now that they didn't, you're one of those people that, you know, you can go find something else to do. You know, you're that weak that you're just going to just after one loss, get your feelings hurt and your ego busted and just, like, not come back again. You know? Like, it really shows me what person is inside you. And the ones, and, you know, to be honest with you, a lot of times it's the most talented guy it's the hardworking, like, not so gifted, not so talented guys that just, they're used to losing, you know, and other things or whatever, and they're just not going to give up until they get what they want, you know. And those are the kind of students that I like, you know. I like those kind of students. I'd rather have a student that has lost, you know, probably will lose again, but he or she's not going to give up. They're going to be back to the mat the next day and get right back to work, asking questions, grinding. And then the really talented one that is used to winning the minute that they lose, they don't come back. Yeah. You know, I've had that. I've had that numerous times. You know, I've had one student say, hey, you know, where you been? I say, I'm depressed. Depressed about what? Oh, I lost. I'm like, man, that's it? Like, man, you lose all the time in life, man. Like, that's life. Like, man, like that's how it goes for you. Like, man, we're going to lose again sometime again before we die. Like, man, like, that's life, man. Like, where's the fight in you? You know? Where's the comeback in you? That's what it's about, you know, because really that's what I use the tournaments for. You know, it's not like, it's a battle within myself, you know, like, oh man, I gotta fight like this guy, you know, man, I fought so many great guys, you know, I fought, you know, like I said, my most recent one is I fought Felipe Costa. Man, he's a man. Yeah. He's a guy, you know, he's like, you can't say enough awesome things about the guy. And now we meet up in the finals, and now it's time to fight him. What do? Fold? No, I had to tell myself, like, this is what you work so hard for. We're in Brazil. We're at the Brasileiro, and now it's time to go and do this. Let's go do it, you know? But that comes from years of, you know, winning and losing. Man, I've had my share of wins, and I definitely had my share of losses, you know, but it's my losses that just get me back to the mat right away. And know me as a coach or any good coach, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the guys that are coming back right after they lose. If you lose and you take a week off, 2 weeks off, or even a couple of days off, you know, I'm really wondering about who you are inside. I have students that have lost and they're back the very next day.
Yeah.
The very next day. Right there, I'm like, those are the ones. Those are the ones that are going to persevere and grind and see it all the way through. And sure enough, those are my best guys.
Yeah, and they bring a video of their loss, and they want to figure out what happened wrong, and they're trying to get better from it.
Yeah. So to answer your questions, a super long explanation.
That's good.
If you're going to compete for the first time, you have to set yourself up to win. But you also got to know you can do everything right. You can train 1 to 2 days more than you normally do. You can eat right. That's the other thing I left out. The proper nutrition, man. Most people have poor diets. You know, poor diets. They're drinking sodas and chips, and, you know, they're eating fast food, you know, on a daily basis, you know, or even during competition time. And this is just horrible. Like, it's just, you're setting yourself up for failure, and you can't give me the excuse, well, I can't let go of my Cokes. You know, I love cheeseburgers. Well, then you don't love winning that much then, because you just don't want to do the sacrifices necessary to do what it takes to go out and win. But even if you do all that, you still might go out and lose. But if you get back to the mat, get back to training, talk to your coaches, show them your videos, whatever, ask them what went wrong, go back over it, fix it, come back again. You might lose again. You might lose again after that. I have a student. It's probably one of the best stories that I have in my school.
Okay.
And right now he's one of my best guys. He's a brown belt now. This guy went to like 7 BJJ tournaments, I think like white to like blue belt, and lost. I mean, hopped on planes to Brazil, to New York, to this place, to that place, to Miami, and lost, and was on the verge of quitting. I was like, I can't do it no more. I can't take losing no more. Man, you got to hang in there, man, because the guy was getting good. Like, every tournament, he was just getting that much closer. It was just one little thing here or there, you know, he just, oh, man, you let the, you know, like, kind of one of those things, like, getting so excited, and all of a sudden, you know, the wind gets taken out of your sails, and you're like, oh, man, I can't believe that just happened. You know, he just, you know, made a mistake, and he paid for it, but he was getting better every time. And he was really going to quit, like, stop. And I talked him out of it, told him to stick with it. We go to the Vegas Open, I think in 2012. Won like 3 matches. Ever since then, he's been on a freaking tear, man, like tear. At purple belt, he won the Brasileiro, he won the Europeans, he won Pans, he won the Asian Open, but he won all the major tournaments. And then I gave him his brown belt at the Europeans. On the podium, he had 6 fights at the Europeans and dominated pretty much all of them except for the finals, which was a really tough match. But all the other ones, man, he was still beating the guys who beat them like dominantly on points. And I gave him his brown belt on the podium. But this was a guy that was going to quit because he just got tired of losing. Well, he had like it was legitimate. Like, man, you guys paying for his airfare, he's paying for his registrations for BJJ ain't cheap, you know. And he's like, you just can't do it, you know. And I'm like, man, you got to do it. And you have to hang it. I can see it, you know. There's a light there, man. You're so close, you know. And if you turn around and stop now, man, you never know what that feels like. What it's like to win. Man, he got that taste in his mouth once he won. It's been over. Now, has he lost? Yeah, he's lost. Very few, though. Very few has he lost. But he's back again, and he's back again, and he's back again, and he's back again. Most humblest guy I've ever coached and had the pleasure of coaching even after all these great wins. I'll tell you his name. You totally know his name. His name is Jordan Scheffler. And just doesn't act like he walks on water. He doesn't show up late and doesn't do the drills. He does everything that a brown belt, how they should uphold their responsibilities, should uphold them. With all the wins and accolades that he has, he's still doing the right thing. So, for anybody out there just listening, like, do the right things, do all the right things, and even then, if you come up short, don't quit. Again, 2, 3, 4. This guy 7 times. Maybe it'd be 10 times for you. Okay, you got to see it through. You got to see it because you started. Now you can't quit. You know, if it's not for you and you never sign up, cool. But once you sign up and you start, you can't just like, oh well, it's not for me. You know, it's not for you because you lost. You know, because if you won, you keep going. You know, so again, it's all about your character and who are you inside. And to me, that's like the biggest and best thing about like jiu-jitsu is like finding yourself, like who you are. You know, it's like with my kids. You know, like the kids program. Like you can bring like the weakest, most unathletic kid in here, not aggressive, and he's getting pounded on left and right every single day. Some kids will never come back because the parents like, I can't take my kid getting parents like that. But then I have other parents like, hey, I'll bring them back. Eventually, you got to fight back. You know, eventually that stuff's going to stop because you got to fight back. You're just tired of it. You know, so eventually you get tired of losing. Either you're going to quit and be one of those guys or girls, or you're going to be the one that perseveres and say, you know what, I'm going to get me that win. Maybe you didn't place that day, but you got that win, and then you build off of that. Yeah, you know. So it's huge.
And how important is it for a kid to learn the life lesson that don't quit after you lose, and hang in there and keep doing training and getting better, and you'll have success later on.
Oh, it's so important because like team sports, I played them. I played basketball. You know. Played baseball, whatever, you know, but it wasn't until I wrestled that I realized, man, it's just you and another guy, you know. So if you make a mistake, you can't fall back on, well, so-and-so missed the three-pointer, so-and-so missed the free throws, you know, so-and-so didn't pass me the ball, or, you know, you can't throw the blame on anybody else. It's just you. So in jiu-jitsu, the same thing. With the kids, you know, it's like, hey, you know, I tell all the kids all the time, like they're in the mount, they're you know, some of the kids will cry, they're frustrated, like they're stuck. Hey, you don't like being in the mount, get out. Like fight harder to get out. You know, and sometimes we do takedown drills. Like if you do takedowns, you get taken down, you got like 5 push-ups. So one round, one kid will do all the push-ups. You know, trying, you know, hey. Ball harder, you know, crossface, like, defend it, you know, try harder, that's all I can tell you. If you don't want to do the push-ups, don't let them make you do push-ups. And eventually, you know, they'll get that leg and pick it up and, like, you're doing push-ups this time, you know what I mean? Like, and the look on their face when the other person's doing push-ups, it's priceless. It's priceless. Or just, I mean, because they fall back and they came back and they achieve something. Yeah. You know, like and like they're counting their push-ups. Oh, dude, it's like, you know, they don't get carried away. You know, like don't over celebrate, but you know, like it's a good feeling. I got a couple kids where you know they competed and they lost. And, you know, if the parents do right, they'll keep them competing until they do win. You know, and if you want to ride off to the sunset after you win and take gold, and so be it. But at least you did it, you know. Yeah. But you can't ride off to the sunset losing and not accomplishing that, you know. And I got so many of these kids in here, they love the Naga tournament. They get swords, you know. oh, he says all he wanted was a sword, you know, and now he missed it this time, he missed it the next time, and finally I get that sword, and man, you can't put money on that, man. You can't even put a price on what you're paying a month for jiu-jitsu and what your kids just did out there and the way they're feeling right now, what that just did for them and how that's going to help them just in life in general, you know. I mean, that's the beauty of jiu-jitsu, man. You know, it really is. It really is.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about people competing and reaching that high level. On the other end of the spectrum, you have people that are really busy off the mat, you know, family, work, and stuff is going on, but they like jiu-jitsu a lot. You know, they're only able to get in there 1 or 2 times a week. How are they? What advice do you have for somebody who's at that level or in that place in their life?
Set a schedule. That's easy.
Yeah.
I deal with these questions all the time. Set a schedule. When I moved to Texas and I found like a you know, a place where they did jiu-jitsu like all the time, and like they did jiu-jitsu school. And at that time, the 7, you know, and, you know, the wire, everything. So I was like, okay. And I worked General Motors. I'm on the assembly line. You know, that's not easy. I wasn't behind the desk, you know, and again, that's my fault. You know, I chose to go that route, but still the 8-9 hours I worked that day were rough, you know, and now you got to come home and now you got to, you know, do the dad thing or the husband thing, and then you still want to go and do your thing. And I told myself Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. So Tuesday, Thursday was like dinner night, right? Like you cook dinner and we sit on at the table and we sit and talk and we watch a movie, right? You know, like makes everybody happy. So I split it up, you know. And you should do that.
Yeah.
Because you got to keep people at home happy, right? Because if you're gone all the time, then they're not happy. But then if you're not training at all and you're at home all the time, well, then now your coach ain't happy. You just sucks because you know you're not training. You're not training. You know, and you come back and you get whooped on by guys that used to beat or whatever. So you have to make sure you can do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can do Monday and Friday. You can do Tuesday and Saturday. And split it up however you want to. But the key, the biggest thing, is nothing stops you on those days. Set your schedule like it's work. Like it's what happens if you don't go to work? You get fired. You get written up.
Yeah.
You know? Eventually you lose your job. And so I looked at it like that. Like I said, it's different for other people. Like all my students, there's so much jiu-jitsu here now. I mean, there's another school at the corner. There's one 3 miles down the road. There's another one 5 miles up the road. There's like all these schools like next to me. When I started, there was no jiu-jitsu, man. There was none in the city that I came from. And then when I moved to here, it still wasn't where it is today. There's like a few schools, like I think there's 4 schools in the entire metroplex. Now it's just saturated with really good jiu-jitsu guys. You know, it's really good. There's great jiu-jitsu guys here in schools. You know, and so I didn't want to lose that. And I'm like, man, you know, my mom gave a story. Like my mom, you know, she changed the way she cooks for me now. She cooks very healthy meals, but being Mexican, you know, it was the traditional, you know, just fattening, high sodium, you know, crappy food, man. No, not trying to make anybody mad out there, like whatever. Like Mexican food smells good and it tastes great, but it's probably some of the worst stuff for your body. You know, it's just, I just can't eat it. So my mom would invite me to dinner. I'm like, Mom, I got to train today. She's like, but I made dinner. And I'm like, yeah, but I got to train today. And she's like, yeah, but, you know, like, hey, I made you dinner. You know, like, you can come over and eat. And the answer is no. The answer is no. Today I train. You want to cook for me? You cook for me on an off day. Here's my schedule. If you need me to take you somewhere or do something for you, call me on these days. Don't call me on these days because I'm not gonna help you. I'm not gonna come through for you unless it's like an absolute emergency. You know, don't get me wrong, but you know, if you just want me to just come and just kick it with you or something, or just, you know, watch a movie or, you know, kill some time, that's not the day to do it. And you know, going back to the spouses or the girlfriends, you know, they're gonna try and tell you, let's just watch a movie. Why do you got to go? Can't you just stay at home? You know, no. You have to stick to your schedule. They need to know your schedule. And if they don't know your schedule, and if you don't know your schedule, you're going to be winging it week in and week out, day in and day out. Who knows when you're going to train? Your coach don't even know when you're going to train. You're going to miss days left and right. You're never really going to progress like you should. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to come in. You're going to be gassed and tired, and you're going to lay on the mat. You're going to sit against the wall with your head down or on a chair. You know, you're going to walk out of here, you know, like, or out of your gym so frustrated that you're going to just contemplate on just giving it all up. Because why? Because you just didn't put forth a regimen that you're going to stick to, and you're all over the place, and you're just never going to grow. It happens all the time. And what helped me was nobody, absolutely nobody got in the way of my training. Nobody. And the benefits, I tell all my students, because I did that, I know you. We're friends. If I didn't do that, I'd be one of the other guys that just went off into the wherever and never finished and got their black belt. I wouldn't have a school. I wouldn't know any of you guys and my students, you know. But because I did that, and I was very strongly about that, and I didn't let anybody come in the way of my training on my days. It wasn't every day. I split my days up. I progressed, and I got better and got better and got better. Now, if the wife or somebody was like, when they got their nails done or their hair did or something like that, and or their girlfriends call, hey, cool, I get to go train that shit a couple hours, I'll run off to the gym or something, and sneak another day in there. But besides that, man, absolutely nothing. You have to be that, because think about it. You're paying, on average, $150 to $200 a month or whatever, your gym in your area charges or whatever, it's not cheap, it's just not cheap. And so you're wasting money every month. You're paying for a service that you're not giving yourself.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's sad. It's very sad that you're not going to take full advantage of something that you're paying for every month out of your hard-earned working money. You're not going to go get that. Like, that's a shame. That really is. It's a shame. I work hard for my money. I know what it's like. I'm not just going to just give it to somebody and be like, here's a couple $100 a month, and I'm just not going to show up all month or once a week, So you have to be relentless, man, and not let anybody come in the way you're training. Again, like I said, Monday, Saturday, you can have all week. Start the week off with some jiu-jitsu, spend all the other days with your family, and then go back on Saturday. Maybe, or do 3 days. Most of my students train 2 to 3 times a week, most 3 days, and that's good. You can progress that way. But if you don't know what days you're training, and let's say you have a retail schedule, you work at Best Buy, for example, they don't get the schedules out till Sunday. Okay, get your schedule. There's your schedule now. Plan out your week. Okay, I got to work on these days, so here are my days I can go and train. Boom, put it on the refrigerator, let everybody see it. Call your friends and family, text them, whatever, let them know, hey, look, man, I'm busy on these days. This is my work schedule and my jiu-jitsu schedule, and I'm free on these times. I'll see you then or talk to you then. But if you don't do that, then again, you're setting yourself up for a major failure. Now, I do have a student. He's a pastor of a local church in the area. And when he first started, he said, Mr. Alvarez, all I can give you is 1 day a week. I'm busy. But I want to do this, and I can give you 1 day a week. He started when he was 40. He's going on 47. He's a brown belt under me. He's an absolute monster.
Wow. He
comes every week like he's supposed to, and there's times where he can come an extra day, and he will. But he takes notes. And so for those, I think you should take notes anyways. I've always taken notes. I have a stack of notes in my office from all the years. I can tell you back in 04, 05, 06, 08, 09, who I trained with and what I did that day, what technique I used, what if I got tapped or who I tapped with what move. I have all that stuff written down. And so this guy, he does that. Or at the end of class, he'll take his cell phone and asked somebody to record him drilling the move, 2 to 3 techniques that we worked or whatever we worked that day, and record himself drilling the move with another teammate. And then he'll watch those videos during his time at the office, at the church, when he has, 10, 15 minutes or whatever to go back over the stuff. And he's good. He's like 230 pounds or so, man. He's like real stocky guy, and man, he's the nicest guy ever, man. But, he just told me a long time ago, my colleagues go golfing, and that's not me. He goes, I do jiu-jitsu, and this is the outlet for me. This is a great stress reliever. I love it. And for all those people out there that say, you can't progress one day, man, you come over with Mr. Bob Moyer and let him see if you don't think, you can progress with just one day a week. But the key thing is he came that one day a week. He didn't say, oh, well, because it was a very important, if he missed this week, he can't come back till next week.
That's 2 weeks, yeah.
So it's 2 weeks. So you have to, man, you got to let people know, and you have to be very upfront, and they have to be understanding. And I don't understand a lot of times. The thing is people's significant others, maybe they don't have a passion for something right now at this moment, and you're their passion. So when you're no longer there like you used to, they get jealous, and now they don't want you to do what they want you to do it, but they don't want you to do it, They want you to be happy, but then again, they don't want you to be happy because they're not happy, And so, you have to let those people know, like, look, this is what I love this stuff. Like, I like this is good for me. It's good for my health, it's good for my heart, it's good for my joint. Like, yeah, you get armbar and you get choked and you get little kinks here and there, but for the most part, you're moving your body and you're doing something healthy in a healthy environment. If you're in a healthy environment around good people, good teammates, it's better than being at the bar shooting darts, after work. I worked at General Motors, man. All those guys would go across the street and drink and play pool and shoot, hey, man, or even play video games. I work second shift. They'd all get out of work and go play video games 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, man, I got to go home. I got to train in the morning. Come over. Do what? Play video games? I don't play video games. Like, I don't even know how to, I barely know how to turn on the PlayStation, man. I don't have time for stuff like that. This is what I love to do, and this is what I'm going to do. And I had you got a passion for it. Those people need to understand and let you be. And maybe they need to go work out themselves. Go to the gym. Go find a class, a yoga class or something to do or whatever, But, it kind of sounds kind of, mean, but it's not, man. You might, because I have students that are like 4-year blue belts. Because why? Because they're just hit and miss all the time.
Yeah.
They're never consistent. That's sad. That's sad. That's not because I'm holding them back. It's because they don't come. They owe me time. They owe me their time. They never progress. They come in, when they do come in, and it's not just blue belts. I have 2.5-year white belts. That's ridiculous. Because why? Because they just have no schedule. They have no commitment. And then they come in, they're dying on the mat between rounds, they're throwing up, Coach, I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta go. You're just trying to dodge the last 2 rounds. You're tired, I know all the tricks of the trade, man. I've been doing this stuff for a long time. If you really had to go, you would have told me before class, hey, Coach, I got this thing I gotta go to, so I have to leave early. But you want to leave early or sit out a round because you're just in poor shape, because you're eating bad, you're not exercising when you're not here, and when you do come in, you just can't take it. And eventually they quit. So I'm pretty tough, man, when it comes to stuff like that, because obviously if I wasn't that way, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, and so I know what it takes to be successful as a competitor and as an academy grappler. If you just, if you want to be an academy grappler and never compete, that's awesome. But why not be the best academy grappler? Why just be the average one? Why be the one that everybody comes in and picks because they want to round off, or they want to work their moves on you? They're you're the guy or girl that everybody wants to try their new moves on because you're the squirrel or the rabbit that everybody wants to try the new techniques on. You know, you're not the wild boar, you know, that you know, that's going to give them a hard time. I'd be ashamed of myself, you know, like that's no way. Like if I'm just in an academy grapple, I'm going to be the best one in the academy. I'm going to be my coach is like, hey, you don't compete, but you want to see some tough rolls, go roll with them. You know, they're going to give you some good work. I want to be proud of what I do in my work, you know. And so sometimes, you know, people don't look at it that way, so they're the grappling dummy for everybody, you know.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what level you're at, you know, if you're obviously somebody who's a blue belt's not going to be, you know, the best hanging in there with the upper level guys, but you could be the best blue belt you could be, and give all the purple belts a good run for their money every time.
Yeah, they'll appreciate you.
Yeah,
man, you're like, you appreciate yourself. The coach will appreciate you, and your teammates are like, man, like, you know, I mean, I have guys here that you know, they don't compete, but man, they're tough. You know, you see those guys everywhere, like you know, in academy, but it's not everybody though. You know, again, that's just me. Like whatever I'm gonna do, I just need to do it right. I need to be good at it. You know, I mean, doesn't matter if I'm washing my car or cutting my grass or like I'm not gonna just like half-heartedly do it. Like you know, if I'm gonna do it, I need to do it right. You know, and the most successful people you talk to, like, they're going to do something, they're going to do it right. So we want to be successful at jiu-jitsu, set the schedule, eat right, work out like you're supposed to, you know, and do the drills like you're supposed to, grab the toughest partners like you're supposed to, and, you know, try to be the best you can be, even though you're not a competitor. Be the guy, you know, or girl that, you know, people want to roll with because you're tough and you're really good, not because, you know, you suck and you haven't been to class often and, you know, people just want to pick on you, man. Because I have students that do that all the time. They're like, you know, they don't tell me, but I can see the look. Like, man, maybe they just had a tough round, so they need to round off and go pick somebody else. Like, and they're just, you know, it's like a good 8-minute round for them that they can recover and then, like, come back and pick another guy. Well, that's not going to be me. I mean, if you want to roll with me, you're gonna that's not going to be an easy roll, you know. So, you know, that's just my advice and my opinion on how I look at things.
Yeah, and it's gotten you where you are today. You know, you've got the training philosophy that has gotten you so many titles and medals. Speaking of that, like accomplishing a lot, who would you like to thank that's helped you along the way?
There's a lot, you know, like, you know, for one, you know, my parents, you know, they put in a lot of hard work to get where they're at and to provide for me and take care of me, and always and kind of like instilled that thing in me, you know, and so I'm just doing it a different way, you know.
Yeah.
They did the hard work with their hands, and I'm like, I want to do hard work, but not with my hands, not like that. You know, yeah, I do work with my hands, but not in that sense, like hard physical labor.
Yeah.
You know, to get by, because that's just not it. You know, I do it this way, and so, you know, I think all the guys, you know, that's ever showed me a technique, actually took the time to work with me. You know, my first jiu-jitsu coach, the one I have now, and all the guys that I brought in, you know, for seminars or any type of business advice or anything that anybody's kind of helped. Because the bottom line is, what I try to get through to everybody is you get nowhere by yourself. Like, if you don't have nobody to thank, man, something's wrong with nobody to thank. Something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
You know, like you got to where you're at because somebody helped you along the way. Somebody showed you the way, gave you a helping hand, and put you under their wing and said, "Hey, you know, let's do this." You know, you get nowhere by yourself. You know, all the things that I've won, or my academy, the way it's successful. It's all because of the people that I have around me on a day-to-day basis. You know, again, my coaching staff is beasts. Like, they're awesome. Like, not only are they like really high-level, like good competitors, and they win just about everything they do, but they're just like great people. They're just great coaches. You know, the office staff that I have, like, they do a phenomenal job when they're here. You know, and of course, just everybody that comes in and trains with me, I know, again, like I said earlier, they're saturated here with jiu-jitsu. They could be training somewhere else, but instead they come here and train. So I'm very thankful for that. You know, and again, you know, on the competition scene, you know, I have my coach, Bruno Boss, is a thing. He competes himself still at a high level, so you know that's a good fit for me. It's always been a good fit for me because I'm competitive and I wanted to always compete at that level. So, you know, it's a great friendship, partnership that we have because we kind of like feed off each other with that kind of stuff, you know. So, but like I said, when it just comes down to it, it's just be here forever naming everybody, but it's just the people that I have around me that got me to where I'm at today, and of course where I grew up from, you know, in Saginaw, Michigan. Like just being in a place where there is no jiu-jitsu. Even now today, there's one small academy, and it's an affiliate under me, and the coach, great coach, he's a brown belt. He'll have his black belt soon. It'll be like the first. And we have other brown belts up there under him. And it's just, you know, but that's only one school, you know, with like a legit jiu-jitsu school, you know. And after all these years, there's no academy that has a jiu-jitsu black belt in Saginaw yet that has like what we have down here, or maybe where you're at, you know. But we'll have that soon, and so I'm pretty excited about that. But you know, it's good. I have an affiliate down in Monterrey, Mexico. Sergio Plaza is his name, and his guys. They're big supporters of Team Alvarez, and I mean, they just drove like 12, 13 hours on like a little bus or minivan that they rented to come up and compete with our team at this Europa tournament. And they brought like 8 or 9 guys, but that's like a pretty big commitment, you know.
Yeah.
Like they, you know, they're huge supporters of us, you know, and so, you know, thank those guys, and of course, Coach Carl Lavadou is the one in Saginaw, and those guys, you know, and so just thankful for all them. But again, I just wouldn't be where I'm at without my the friends and family members and my team and my coaches that I have behind me to help me get to where I'm at, because we're constantly growing. This is our 3rd location, and we're about to, you know, I don't want to say anything yet to anybody, but we'll be moving again soon to even a bigger location, you know. This one here is like 9,500 square feet. The other one's going to be like 15,000 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah, our mat space alone over here is 4,100 square feet. And I think at the other location, I'll be able to make it just a little bigger, you know. So yeah, it's good. It's good.
Wow, that's an awesome amount of mat space, and I can tell you're growing a lot there.
Yeah.
How would somebody keep up with you if they wanted to follow you as you go compete, and or come train with you? How would they get a hold of you or keep up with you?
The website is just going to be Alvarez BJJ.com, and that's ALVAREZ BJJ.com. If you want to go there, because we have like all our team titles and all the history on me and some of the other coaches and Danielle, like everything we do or accomplish it's posted up on the website on the instructors page. You know, there's video testimonials and things in that nature. But you know, I'm pretty relentless on the social media thing. Facebook, the friend page is going to be Danny Alvarez BJJ. You'll see the Alvarez Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu logo. It's a circle logo. It's black and white. But the business page, if you guys can go out there and like that, that is Alvarez Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You'll see a cartoon figure of a guy getting choked out with a 30-day free trial. That's the page. You go and like that. Twitter is Alvarez BJJ. Instagram is Alvarez BJJ. Google Plus is Alvarez Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Arlington, Texas, I think. Just whatever else is out there, we kind of keep it to Alvarez BJJ. But the business pages like Google Plus and the Facebook is Alvarez Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We have a fan page, but I need to delete that. That hasn't been used in forever. But the Facebook is probably the best way to keep up. Also, I use that in Instagram probably the most. But we post all our videos and tournaments, and wherever me and Danielle go, we're always posting our. I'll make an album. So if you want to see what we did in Europe this year, that album's there. You want to see what we did in Abu Dhabi this year, that album's on there. What we did in Sao Paulo this year, that album's posted on there. And wherever else we've been this year, I always create an album and post all the pictures up, so it's pretty cool.
That's cool. And I'll put links to all those sites on the show notes for people to find easily and keep up with you.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, the website would be great if you could put that on there as well.
Absolutely. Sweet. Well, Danny, it's been a pleasure having you on the show here, and you've shared a ton of great knowledge and experiences, and I'm sure everybody enjoyed hearing from you.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate you, and I can't wait to, share this with my team and everybody else out there, and get them to listen to your podcast and stuff. So I'm sure you have a lot more followers listening to you out there once we get that, out there, and they can see what you're doing. And again, I really appreciate you taking the time to spend with me like this. It's just an honor for me to do that, and I can't thank you enough for just inviting me on just to talk about this stuff. So I really appreciate you and all the things that you're doing, because it's something that the jiu-jitsu community needs to have, to hear other opinions and stuff from coaches and just advice and tips to help people, because it's just a big problem in most jiu-jitsu schools is you have a lot of white and blue belts, and then come purple and brown, it starts to really taper off and go downhill. Because why? Because people lose sight of their goals. They forget why they started in the first place, and that's one thing I got to constantly remind people is you got to remind yourself all the time why you came here in the first place. Why did you walk into that jiu-jitsu school in the first place? Put it somewhere on your refrigerator, on your mirror, on your car visor or something to constantly just give you that reminder to just don't lose sight of why you started, because it's a great thing for you. It's great for your health and fitness. It's great for your self-defense. It's just great for everything. And there's going to be things in life that just are going to pull you away from it. And if you allow it to, life will beat you. And you just can't let it win. You gotta be able to overcome all those other obstacles that are going to pull you off the mat. And you just stick with it, So, especially for all those white belts out there, the guys that have been training for a couple of years, when you first start, you're all excited and pumped up, and then after a while, things start to change. I see it all the time. It's really a sad thing. And I'd like to see as many people out there continue with jiu-jitsu. It's great for the art, great for the sport. And, to me, it's great for the family members. They see you out there doing good stuff, getting healthier, losing weight, getting in shape, eating better, working out better, physically looking different, man. Hey, I want to do that too. And what are you doing? I want to feel good about myself. And they're going to come to, whoever's listening for advice, and hopefully you can share that with them and pass along all the great information that's been passed to you,
Absolutely. I think you just did a great commercial for jiu-jitsu in general, and how much great things it does for everybody that is able to do it and stick with it. So that's cool. Well, thanks for jumping on here with me. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Danny. All right. That wraps up our part 2 interview with Danny Alvarez. I'll put links to all his social media stuff online or on their website there, and you can go check him out and keep up with him. He got talking pretty heavy about his schedule that he's going to keep for a tournament, and it's a sacrifice. That's part of it. So if you're wanting to go do a tournament and perform well, that's one thing. But if you want to go and you want to win a big tournament, you need to think about what that's gonna cost you, because there's more than just the plane ticket and the time spent away from home. It does cost more. It costs with your social interactions with your family, and that sort of thing. And work may suffer a little bit. If you're really wanting one of those big tournaments, those hard challenges, you've got to do things that other people are not doing.
Yeah, it's a lot of time. If you, like you said, if you're going for those big tournaments, you're going against guys training 4 or 5 hours a day. If you're just putting in your hour a day every other day, 2 hours, 3 times a week, you're going to go out there and probably get smoked. You need to put the time into it. I mean, you're basically a full-time, almost professional athlete going, that's your goal. You're going after the big tournament. You've got to put some time into it. And there are some things that are going to suffer. But, everybody's different. Some people say, I can't believe somebody would do that, for a tournament. Hey, what that tournament means to somebody. That's their goal. That's what they're looking for. Everybody's different. You can't just because one person wouldn't put that amount of time in it doesn't mean anything. Everybody's got their own goals that they are trying to achieve.
Absolutely. So just know in advance when you make a big goal that it's not just you going to train the same you've been doing. You're probably going to have to pick it up a little bit. And do something you haven't done before. So I really enjoyed the interview, and it was interesting to hear from such a avid competitor, or somebody who's out there all the time. Seems like competing and doing very well. So that was a lot of fun talking with Danny.
Yep, great. We appreciate you coming on, Danny. Thank you.
Okay, Gary, we have I've conducted a few interviews.
Oh.
So I could give a little preview of the upcoming episodes.
Let's hear them.
You think people would want to hear anything about that?
Oh, I think so. That'll people know to tune in. They'll be able to tell their friends who's coming on.
Okay, let's do it then. Next week, episode 93, Ricardo Miller, also known as Frangia.
Oh, can't beat that. That's a legend right there.
Legendary coach, man. It's a great time talking to Ricardo. I'm always, Gary, we're always hesitant at saying what's coming up, but these interviews are done and recorded, so I'm confident that I won't hit the delete button.
Byron has been busy.
Episode 94 coming out August 3rd. A gentleman named Stephen Kestings.
And I think everybody knows who Stephen Kesting is. If you are on the internet, he's got some incredible stuff out there. I've used his stuff constantly and helped my game out.
Yeah, I kind of teased him a little bit. Like anytime I look for a technique, you pop up and show me what I'm looking for. So it's fun talking to him. We also. We obviously talk a lot of jiu-jitsu. We're both firefighters. We get a little off topic and talk about firefighting, which is fun. And it's not like it's crazy long, but it's always interesting to hear things that people are passionate about, I think. So a little bit of that. Keep going here, Gary. Episode 95 coming up August 10. David Meyer, who was one of the first American black belts. So that happened a while back. And,
one of the Dirty Dozen.
Dirty Dozen. So he also runs the world's largest nonprofit pet adoption website.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
that is neat.
Tons of pets have been adopted through him and what he's doing with his off-the-mat efforts there. But he's still training. He's still competing. He's doing it, man. He was an inspirational guy to talk to. And then we finally had our question and answer show with Sam Spiegelman.
Oh, I've been wondering what's going on there. That's awesome. I thought that would be a great episode. Episode
96 and 97, because we had quite a few questions come in, and he did answer them all. So get your strength and conditioning questions will be answered on episodes 96 and 97. That's August 17 and 24 when those come out. So there we go, Gary. That's all I've got.
Well, what about episode 98 with Hulk Hogan?
I'm working on that interview. He's he's never stood me up, but I imagine he probably would.
Yeah.
Little Hulkamaniac I once was. So that hopefully might happen someday. I don't know. That's probably a little off topic, but I know a lot of people would enjoy hearing from that gentleman.
Yeah, who won it?
if you want to catch the BJJ Brick podcast every week, there's two easy ways. You go subscribe to it like in iTunes or on Stitcher Radio, wherever you might find us. Or you could sign up on our email list. It's on the website. It's on the Facebook page. Little thing, you put your name and email address, and every Tuesday, boom, you get an email right there in your inbox. It's pretty easy.
That way you never miss it. Yeah, every Tuesday you get the email. There's no way you're going to miss it.
Yeah, and it gives you the show notes, everything there, all the links to all the jiu-jitsu action that was coming at you. That's the easiest way, I think, and also on subscribing on the pod tunes there is an easy way as well. Gary, we have some more gi patches laying around here, and I'd be happy to send some out.
So basically, just give us a review. Go on to iTunes, Stitcher Radio, give us a review. Funny review, hopefully, and then send us an email or message us on Facebook. Let us know that was you, because otherwise we have no clue who it is. We'd love to send you out a Facebook. United States only. We're just too poor to pay for the postage, but United States only. We'll give you a gi patch, and we'd love for you to give us a review and give you a gi patch. So we appreciate them all. Yep,
it's our little logo of me and Gary rolling, and I got a brick, and Gary's got a microphone interviewing, and.
If I'm using the open guard microphone cord choke, and I'm about to get smashed with a brick.
There we go. So that's it's a little patch, and we can send it out in the mail. So we've been doing that, and that's been a lot of fun, getting some fun reviews with that. Like we mentioned earlier in the episode, if you want to get a hold of us, bjjbrick@gmail.com is the easiest way. You could also message us on our fan page on Facebook. Those are both pretty simple. Gary, I put out the audiobook. Your first year in BJJ. It's been a great way for people to support the podcast. Gary's got an audiobook coming out hopefully soon, probably right after my interview with Hulk Hogan airs. Prison Basketball, Shanks and Jump Shots.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a very good one. I mean, I'll explain never to take a charge in a prison situation. A lot of those guys have shanks on you. So if you're taking a charge, you could end up in a gut shot. So definitely do not take a charge in prison basketball. That's my best advice I can give you.
That's advice. You know, a lot of your books, I don't know if you're credited on teaching, like certain survival tactics on the Sahara Desert or something like that. But Gary has volunteered his time and played basketball in prison to
I probably have a good 50 games under my belts in the New York State prison system. So, good times.
And you never were once there as an inmate, is that correct?
Correct.
We got to make that clear, because it really doesn't matter. If you're just in prison playing ball, I mean, that's not a big deal, but I don't know.
As long as I was having fun, that's all that counts.
Oh, one more thing, Gary. If a listener happens to be traveling through the area of Wichita, Kansas, they need to. We would like it if they would hit us up with an email, especially if they're here for a little while. And we'd love to train with you guys. So definitely we'll be able to provide some mat space and get to know you and meet you on the mat there. So that'd be awesome. I got to say, before we close the show, as always, stay sweaty, my friends.
And don't forget to shower.
Thank you for listening. I hope you find the time today to roll. After all, the best way to get better at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.